if I remember to unmute my mic. So, welcome to the Gamers Inn. Come on in, pull up a chair next to the fire. It looks like you've had a long journey. I'm your host, Jocelyn, and joining me, as always, is my co-host, Ryan. Hello, Ryan.
Sometimes whenever you read that, we've been doing this show for over 2 years, and whenever you read that intro text, there's some weeks where I'm like, yeah, there are probably people listening that have had a long journey. But today, it's like, I think
It's
we both
been
had
a
a long journey.
long fucking week.
Yeah, but once again, it's gone by pretty quickly. It feels like a long. I mean, maybe it's different for you, but I feel like it's been a long week. But I feel like we just did this show like a day ago, which
Yeah,
is not true at all.
it did. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like we just did the Gamers Inn. I feel like I just did the Angry Chicken, and yet every day at work just was feeling like it was dragging more than anything else. So next week, actually, because I've been running a department for about 4 months now, and there's supposed to be two of us doing the job. So on Monday, the other girl that got hired with me comes back from her mat leave, so there will actually be two people doing the job. So I'm not going to be crazy overwhelmed all of the time. And I get to work from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. It's going to be amazing. It's going
That
to be
sounds.
all my late night gaming sessions are going to be so much fun because I know I don't have to wake up early in the morning, because most of the time, especially on Angry Chicken night, I go to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning and then I have to be up at 7 at the absolute latest. And if I get up at 7, I'm literally rolling out of bed, throwing on clothes, and running out the door. Like, it's like one continuous motion. So I'm very excited about a 10 a.m. start time.
That will be exciting. I mean, I haven't done it in a while, but this week I was up pretty late. I did like a bunch of podcasts. I actually was on a podcast with Paul and James. They're starting like this. I don't even know if I'm supposed to say it, but I'm gonna say it anyways. Paul, you can get angry at me later, but it's like this weird beta episode that they're doing. So I was like helping them out with that. They're gonna talk like indie games. They haven't named it yet. I guess it's.
I did see those tweets, so don't worry, you're not
Oh,
totally
okay.
letting it out of the bag.
I mean, we could probably come up with a good name right now. Just maybe like Paul and James.
Do
Fun.
indie games?
Well, I don't know if "do" is a proper word. It's more like indie games do them.
uh, could be,
But
could be.
I was up super late, and the next day, I went to bed and I was like, "Yeah, all right, tomorrow's gonna be fantastic." Then I get to work, and multiple people asked if I was sick. I'm like,
Don't you
I
love that? When, like, you've had a really late night or you're just not really feeling all that great about yourself and you walk into work and they're just like, oh, you should go home. You really don't look well. You're just like, thanks.
are you all right? Do you need a puke bucket or?
Yeah, like, I drag my ass out of bed for you people, and the best you can say is, ooh, you're not looking so hot.
But then how do you explain it? Like, if I start trying to explain it to them, they're like, right, Ryan, you were up till 2 in the morning playing God knows what. Like,
Yeah, try telling them that you do a podcast about a video game that's actually a card game and goes till 1 o'clock in the morning. That'll get you some looks.
yeah, it's like, card? You mean like solitaire?
Yeah.
Like, is that
Like, no, like magic. They're like, magic like poof? Like,
Harry
no.
Potter? Like,
Yeah, like Harry
like
Potter.
us? What?
Like, oh, never mind. I just do this thing. Don't worry about it.
It's like internet radio. Oh. So what station is it? FM?
Yeah.
AM?
It's
Skype. Get away
internet.
from me.
Yeah. Get out of my face. So, what have you been staying up late playing this week?
I've been consumed by Assassin's Creed
Oh,
4.
good. Okay, so I just got Assassin's Creed 4 for PC, and I am staring in the face the fact that I'm now going to have to replay that first 4 hours again. This is
All right.
literally going to be time number 4 because, as we mentioned on an earlier episode, Joel played it through while we were at my parents' for Christmas, just the first 10 hours or so. And then we came back home. Joel played it through again, and while Joel's doing these playthroughs, I'm watching because I'm interested, but, you know, it's same content over again. Then I started a save game and played through that content, and now I'm going to switch over to play it on the PC, and I'm just like, oh. So I know you rented it, So you have a similar experience where you've had to play through the content multiple times. So it's definitely worth like pushing past.
Yeah. See, I thought I was only 4 hours in, but it turns out I just kept coming to this. Oh, new quest, new quest. It's like, oh wait, I remember this. I remember this. I was about 10 or 12 hours in to the story, and I had done some side stuff as well. And I think I'm finally at the point where I'm starting to do new content, but it's the beauty of this game is that it's not the story. The story's interesting and the dialogue's funny and it's interesting, but it's the gameplay that really hooks you. It's the pirating mechanics, and you just can't help but just rock the ship beside you and take their metal and wood and whatever sheep or whatever they got on there. I don't know. I mean, I don't
What
need
are they doing with sheep on the boat?
what are they doing with wood? They got so much wood on there. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Wood for sheep, not wood and sheep. Has they ever played Catan? Um, yeah, it's really addicting, those mechanics, and I think maybe starting out as it starts to like it's kind of slow at the beginning. You might be start to feel that grind where you're like, I did this already, but
I played the crap out of that first island on my playthrough
oh
because
yeah.
I watched Joel and I was like, oh, I'm going to get all the treasure. I know I'm going to need all the gold and,
When you
all that
go
kind of
back
stuff.
to that island, so like you go back to that island, and I had the same thought. I started trying to go around
Really?
about the treasure chests. Oh yeah.
I went after the shanty, which was a pain in the ass.
Well, I'm quickly learning now that I've played through the first quarter of the game. I assume twice is that you're encouraged to kind of follow a line, and you're encouraged not to explore, but you can. Like they allow you to like discover, hey, this is harpooning. Hey, this is taking over a fort. But they really introduce you to all those side mechanics through the quest line.
Hmm.
And if you just follow the quest line, you'll eventually just get to do everything. Now, there are some islands that are like, oh, look at this location. There's a chest with 1,000 gold in it. You should jump off your boat and spend 5 minutes trying to find it. It's like, no thanks, game. I think I'll just keep moving on. But yeah, there are
Oh,
islands
you're that rich that you don't need 1,000 gold, eh?
Well, that's the trick, is that I've been using the companion app. I've taken
Ah.
I like to have at least one free to play on the iOS going at a time to do like on my breaks or lunch or while I'm waiting for a ride or something. And I'm happy to say that like this is probably the best companion app I've used since the Mass Effect datapad. Do you
Oh,
remember the
good.
Mass Effect datapad?
I do, but it never worked for me because I think my Mass Effect, I have the 2 Origin accounts still because Origin is a stupid broken piece of crap and I don't want to deal with EA anymore. So my Mass Effect app and my actual account on my Xbox were 2 different emails.
Oh,
So they never, I didn't figure that out until because the whole Origin debacle with my 2 accounts came way after I finished Mass Effect 3. So basically I signed up for this whole app thing with Mass Effect and then could never get it working. And I did so much on the app and it never carried over and I was like, stupid broken fucking EA, I hate you and your stupid face. And then I just gave up. So it just never worked and that was the end of it. And yeah, I gave up. So, and then later on I was like, oh, 2 different emails because 2 different accounts because EA is dumb. So, anyways.
well, on the EA note, like they've been having a lot of issues with Battlefield, and I
Yes.
have no interest in touching that game with a 10-foot pole. I mean, I bought literally all of Battlefield 3 and maybe played like an hour's worth. And they have a new game coming out called Titanfall,
Right. Oh, I
published by
know.
EA, and it looks great.
There's
It
another one too.
Another what?
Another game that EA's got coming out that I really wanted, and then I saw it was EA, and I was like, I feel like
Dragon Age.
new because I wasn't a huge fan. I played the first Dragon Age, not Dragon Age 2, and I didn't like all of the I don't know what you would call them, sound effects, I guess, of your character, like when you're running and like swinging stuff, like all the grunting. Yeah.
Well, Dragon Age is an older game.
It got really
So
annoying really fast.
yeah, I'm trying to think of what game that would be. Because I know Titanfall, it looks great.
It might have been
Uh,
Stick of Truth. Is that EA?
no, that's Ubisoft.
Oh.
Um,
Because it was something that's coming out in Q1, because I was looking at what was coming out. Because, oh, spoilers, I pre-ordered something. But anyways.
pre-orders.
I did. But yeah, there was something else that EA is involved in, and I saw it, and I was like, oh, that might be enough for me not to want to actually touch the game. I know Sims 4 is coming out, but it wasn't Sims, because they've been EA forever. But yeah, anyway, sorry, totally derailed that.
I don't know what game it is, but hell, if somebody does, they'll probably mention it, and then we'll be like, oh, that game.
Yeah, that game.
But I'm kind of wary about Titanfall. Like, I don't want to get excited. I mean, if I had an Xbox One, I'd probably be sweating over, oh my God, I can't wait, because, hey, there's nothing coming out for Xbox One or PS4 for that matter. But I can get it on PC. It'll be essentially the same game, but I'm really not too interested in it because I don't want to invest in something that's broken. And until it comes, and it is multiplayer only. I mean, it looks like there's single player, but it is multiplayer only. And if that thing comes out broken, then
It'll be SimCity all over again.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not saying that the game won't be great eventually. I'm just saying that I'll wait until it comes out and EA proves that, hey guys, we figured it out. And that's all really we'll say on EA until they come out with something that isn't broken. And they are 2 for 2 now with broken.
Yeah.
So, maybe 2014 they'll ship less broken.
Hopefully.
But yeah, related to the data pad for Mass Effect, where you could sort of, I can't remember what you did, but you did an action and then you increased your effectiveness.
I feel like you had to send troops somewhere or something, or you had to send supplies, or there was sending a ship to a location and you had to wait for it to get there and then return again, and then you got whatever the bonus was.
Well, in Assassin's Creed, they've always had sort of a mini game where you managed trade routes, or you manage. Yeah, I think it was always sort of trade routes, and depending on the time frame, it was either horses within New America, and you were kind of doing that. And then in Assassin's Creed 4, you have a fleet of ships, and you manage trade routes, and you sort of keep the trade routes safe by killing other boats, basically doing pirating. It's like a little flash game where your boats show up and then they fire one at a time, and that's great. But the beauty is that you can do that on your phone. I can load it up on my iPhone, play it from anywhere I want, even on the couch while I'm watching Netflix or something, and manage my fleet. And it's like a time-based thing where you send them off and you wait 8 hours and it comes back. You're earning in-game gold. So I've literally had to not worry about gold. I just, while I'm not playing the game, I'm playing the companion app, and it's like a free-to-play game. You don't have to manage it all the time. It's every 4 or 5 hours, and I'm making all this gold, and I'm just upgrading my ship, and it doesn't feel overpowered because I'm still getting my ass handed to me by larger boats.
Yeah.
So it's just really well done, and you should pick that up, and it'll work across all platforms too.
I was going to say, Joel has it for the iPad, and I used it when I first picked it up on 360. So it was awesome because it has the map, and I love maps in general, and it makes everything so much easier. So having an iPad-sized version of the map instead of just the little mini map on screen, or having to, pull that up through the menus or whatever, having the iPad version of the map just made everything so much easier. You can just sit with it on your lap and you can play away, and then, oh, I'm lost. Oh, okay, now I know where I'm going, and you keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not using the map because I'm on the iPhone.
It would be pretty small, I think, on the iPhone.
It wouldn't be worth it, and really, the PS4 is pretty snappy that you're not waiting. You can hit that touchpad to bring up the map, and it's almost instantaneous.
Oh, yeah, it's not like that on the 360.
No, I mean, and that's what I was going to say. The next thing I was going to talk about was just the differences in quality, and I don't think the graphics are any different enough to write home about. You have to pick it up on PS4, and I'm sure on PC, with your Screamin' Doghouse, you're not that dogs are ever been known
My
to
howling
scream.
dog has.
You're howling. Thank you. Screaming dog. You might want to get that
Yeah.
checked. Sounds like Ryan's treadmill. But no, like if you got a really beefy computer, that game's probably going to run on par with what it's looking like on the next gen systems.
Yeah.
Um, but the beauty of it is, and Ubisoft is known for making these open world games that just they're slow. They're not open. Most open world games I find are sluggish, just because they're trying to do so much.
Mm-hmm.
And I think on these next gen systems, rather than making a next gen game, they've taken a current gen game, made it look a little better, but also using all that extra hardware, the system just works faster.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fantastic. And we should enjoy this year when we'll be getting those cross gen games, because next year it's all going to be next gen, and we're going to be back to that slow, sluggy, good looking, but still
sluggy
slow
experience.
Yeah, I think personally, but I mean, on PC, you won't notice that if you have a really high-end computer.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you picked it up on Steam then?
Yeah, I did. So I'm actually going to be writing game reviews again for Doghouse Network. So you guys should go check them out right now. They've revamped the podcast. It's all tech related. So if you're way into PCs and all the specs and, you know, what the latest, greatest thing is, then go check out the Doghouse Network podcast. And then I'm going to be doing game reviews. Kim Price from Ladies of Leet has been doing all of the news articles and all that kind of stuff. So if you want to do all things gaming, Doghouse Network, place to be. And that is probably my Assassin's Creed 4 review will be up in the next week and a half, I think I'm aiming for. So it really, it's...
Are you going to beat it in a week and a half?
I'm not going to beat it, but I'm going to get into it far enough to get a real feel for the game. So I'm aiming for, you know, kind of sinking about 20 hours into it before I write a review, which I think is solid. You know, the whole entire story of BioShock Infinite took 15 hours, so... As long as I stay pretty focused on, you know, trying some of every side mission but being focused on the story to get as far through it as I can, I think that'll be a really solid review. So I'm looking forward to it. Really looking forward to getting back into writing. I do miss that as much as I love podcasting. Mm-hmm. So so that's ramping up. I did pick it up on Steam. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Again, not looking forward to replaying content, but I'm sure once I get past that first 3 or 4 hours, it'll be fine.
It'll go so quick. That game's mechanics are just a lot of fun, and you know what? You can mix it up. Like maybe when you were playing it before, you were just running and gunning. Well, now you can, you know, go the stealth route and just stab dudes in the neck and hide them in the bushes.
Yeah.
You know, like just, you know, change it up.
Yeah.
You know, shoot people. I don't know.
Speaking of super awesome cross-gen games, I picked up Tomb Raider a long time ago now. I feel like it might have actually even have been the Black Friday sale, maybe. But I've had it for a while, and I promised Ryan at some point in the last few episodes that I would give it a shot. So I started it. And then I was sitting there and my Twitter was going crazy. And I was like, well, what the heck's going on? And there was a couple messages from Garrett because he had messaged me this morning at 9 o'clock in the morning, which is 8 o'clock in the morning for him. So that is really odd. So he wanted to know if I was around just to record something quick. And I was like, oh, no, you know, I was working, but what's up? And he's like, oh, I just wanted to talk about how amazing and awesome and happy we are with this nomination. And I was like, nomination ? Twitter explode. And then, so it turns out that the Angry Chicken actually got nominated for a Blizzard Entertainment Award for 2013. So, I mean, I don't even know what to say. Like, I'm so excited and flattered, and we're up for best community show, I think, of 2013, or best community stream. I can't remember. Best community something. I'm so overwhelmed. I don't even know. It's community something of 2013. And we are up against some just absolutely fantastic networks and podcasters. And I mean, like, there's people like Chanman and Day9 and I'm trying to think of who, Mana Grind and Twizcast, I think, or Twixcast. I can't remember, something Anyways, there's a whole bunch of absolutely fantastic people that are nominated with us. So, I mean, I know everyone always says this, but it is an honor just to be nominated. And I mean, we are all three of us just blown away. So, if you guys want to, yeah, so basically that totally, absolutely killed my gaming time today because I was just like, you know, sending that out on Facebook and Twitter and just all over the place. So if you guys want to support the Angry Chicken in our bid to win the Community Choice Award of 2013 from Blizzard Entertainment, Ryan just threw the link into the chat room, but you can actually go to tinyurl.com/vote4tac, and that's TAC for the Angry Chicken. We would really appreciate it. You do have to have a Battle.net account with an active game, but you know what's in open beta right now and is also free is Hearthstone. So if you haven't already checked out Hearthstone, make yourself a Battle.net account, go download Hearthstone, give it a shot, listen to Angry Chicken, and if you like us, give us your vote. Voting does actually end on the 5th, so they were announced yesterday, and voting ends on Wednesday, so it's just 1 week of voting, so really appreciate it. That's my pimping plug of why I didn't actually get to play Tomb Raider. I had a reason. I had it booted. I got to see the opening, like, ship sinking, and then the press left and right to swing and escape, and then I escaped and, like, got, I don't know, I fell on some rebar or something, and then I was like, well, that's all I got to play. Looks good so far.
Tomb Raider, game of the year, rebar to the ribs.
Exactly. Hoorah. At least that happened to everybody. I thought maybe that just happened to me because I was bad at swinging.
No, that you make me want to play that game again so bad. I've been seeing a lot of tweets and stuff of like the high definition, or the, shouldn't say high definition, the definitive edition for next gen, and I have this really awful feeling about these titles coming out on the PS4 and Xbox One that normally go on sale pretty quickly after they come out. Like Assassin's Creed went down to like $40-$30 during the holiday season.
Yeah. There were a lot of them. Infamous was another one that we could have got for half off at Christmas. Oh yeah. Or not Infamous, sorry, Injustice. The fighty one. Yeah. The fighty one with Batman. Not Arkham. No, actually, that's a lie. Arkham Origins also was on sale for half off, which, I mean, that came out in November? And then Tomb Raider, Assassin's Creed, there were all these ones that were just so cheap at like Boxing Day, the day after Christmas. And I was so ticked off because, I mean, we bought so many video games over Christmas, like to give to people. And yeah, I was just like, oh, stupid Boxing Day ruining Christmas.
Yeah, I just, it was weird. Like, I was avoiding to buy Assassin's Creed because I figured it would go on sale, but the Xbox One and PS4 have literally not seen any sales, at least here in Canada. And I noticed that on the online store that they have a sale on their first party titles, but that's only like, I think $10 off. So I'm really worried that I'm gonna buy it. No, I shouldn't be worried because I'm gonna enjoy it, but I just I don't know if we've had the discussion about like sales and holding off on buying games because you know they're gonna go on sale. Although
I don't think we've had that discussion.
It may be something to talk about because it's again, it's like who do you want to win in that scenario? Do you want to support the developer because we hear constantly about developers shutting down, or do we want to support our wallets? Like, can I afford that extra $10? Like $20? I don't know. It's just
speaking of that extra $10. Guess what I paid an extra $10 of shipping on in order to make sure that it arrived the day it comes out.
I don't know. Is it I was trying to think of a funny joke one, but I'm just going to say it legitimately. It's Elder Scrolls, isn't it?
It is Elder Scrolls. I bought myself the collector's edition. I think it was $100. I didn't even care. I was just like, put it on the Visa. April Jocelyn will worry about that.
April Jocelyn.
Well, it doesn't actually get charged until the order ships, so it's pre-ordered and sitting on my Visa, but it hasn't actually been charged yet. But yeah, I got the one with the statues, so it's gonna, I'll have my Skyrim map and then my Elder Scrolls Online map, and then I'll have my dragon statue and the cool Daedric Prince statue, and there's gonna be so much Elder Scrolls here. It makes me wish I had the collector's editions of all the earlier games, because I have like I have Morrowind, the Game of the Year edition. I have Oblivion, the Game of the Year edition, but none of them are the collector's editions. I also have Morrowind on Steam, which kind of makes me laugh because I bought Morrowind on Steam because I'm like, I'm sure I don't still have those discs from like 2001. Yeah, I totally still have the discs from 2001.
But now you have a digital.
Yes, which is probably a good thing since clearly I can't keep track of my discs. Mario Kart.
Don't Mario Kart. I want to play that.
Yeah. So, anyways, I did pre-order that. I'm super psyched for it. Elder Scrolls Online comes out in April. I think the ship date is April 4th. I think.
Okay.
So,
now, I have things to say about that MMO and that topic, but and MMOs in general, and not in a bad way. But I'm curious. I saw a bit of ruckus on Twitter about. Yeah, I used the R word.
you did.
Guys.
You did.
So I'll do it again. Don't make me. I heard a bit of ruckus. I did it on Twitter about the collector's edition giving you an exclusive race. Is that a thing?
It does. It's the Imperial. So the collector's edition gives you the Imperial race, and you can play the Imperial in any faction that you want to. And if you pre-order, you get what's called the Explorer Pack, which is a custom pet, as well as the ability to play any race in any alliance. So I can just pick a race, whatever race I want to play, and I can play in whatever alliance I want to play in, which is super cool and like amazingly awesome because it's a PvP world, right? So if people see me coming from far away, they'll be like, "Oh, she's totally on my team. Oh my god, guys, she's still on my team." And I'll be like, "Pow, pow, pow."
That sounds weird.
It's because I said pow, pow, pow in Elder Scrolls, isn't it? I know, I meant like some kind of bow noise, but I can't make a bow noise with my mouth, so it came out pow, pow, pow.
What? If you pre-order the Imperial Edition digitally, you get 5-day early access.
Yes, you do. So I opted for not the digital version. I opted for the actual like physical version because I wanted my statue. So I got the Imperial version with the statue. So it should be shipped to me. Yeah. Well, and that's kind of what I was thinking. I was like, that's not going to give anybody a huge head start. There's going to be tons and tons and tons of people that are playing day 1 as opposed to day -5. So I'm okay with waiting an extra 5 days in order to get my statue and my map. And there's an art book and the soundtrack and all the awesome things that normally come with collector's editions. So I'm super pumped. I didn't want to miss out on it. I mean, I'm such an Elder Scrolls fan. The only ones I didn't play were the original, and which was Arena, and then was it Daggerfall? I think was the second one. I picked it up at Morrowind, but even still, I mean, I just loved those games. So I'm super stoked. I have Skyrim, and I may or may not have started it on the PC.
Right. You were saying that.
Yeah. So I don't want to get too much into that because, I mean, God, the first like 10 episodes of Gamers In, we're all like, oh my God, so I was in Skyrim, and then I did this thing in Skyrim, and then Skyrim, and then I discovered WoW, and then in the next like 100 episodes and then I did this in WoW. So I'm totally not going to talk about WoW this week, guys. I'm just not going to do it.
Everybody doesn't need to buy Elder Scrolls because you'll get to play it on the Gamers In.
Exactly.
Come April. No, that's exciting, and I will never judge about someone having to pick up a collector's edition because I have those games too.
It doesn't happen to me very often. I mean,
well, lucky you.
Yeah, like I have the Skyrim collector's edition. I'm trying to remember. I feel like there was one other.
Batman?
No.
No?
I think there's been one other one that I've picked up a collector's edition of, but I mean, like, Mass Effect wasn't a collector's edition. I didn't go with collector's edition for Infinite. I got the
Zelda.
Yeah, I got the Skyward Sword one with the golden controller. Sorry, I think I did get it with BioShock Infinite, and then I was surprised. Oh, I got the middle one. That's why. There was like the regular edition of Infinite, and then there was the Step Up, which was like the deluxe edition, and then there was the collector's edition that had the Songbird statue. I didn't get the statue for BioShock Infinite, but I got the in between one.
I'm a sucker for the any Blizzard one. Even if it's a game I know I'm gonna Well, if it's a Blizzard game, I know I'm gonna get my money's worth. The only one I probably didn't get my money's worth was Mists of Pandaria, but I
Hmm.
listened to that soundtrack. I listened to the soundtrack more than I played the game, and then when we were at Nerdtacular, I told Russell Brower that, and I couldn't tell if he was impressed or if he was he was a little upset. I think in the end, he probably has already heard that comment before. But you know what? I can't stop myself from telling this story to him, and it was weird. It was really weird. Gotta go to Nerdtacular, guys.
Because
It's a
it's
great
just so
place.
weird.
Oh, it's weird the people you run into, and I mean,
Hmm.
yeah, I'm a big music guy, and just being able to say that to somebody who made the music that I'm listening to is mind blowing. But
Hmm.
Reaper of Souls got a collector's edition announcement, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty close to picking that
I
one up as well.
I am too, which is kind of ridiculous because I haven't even finished Diablo 3. But
Right.
Reaper of Souls has a pet.
I I have a thing to say about Diablo in the topic that includes both of us that might be worth mentioning.
All right, all right. I think also when Legacy of the Void eventually comes out 10 years from now, I'll probably pick that up as a collector's edition as well because I mean, I just have such a love for StarCraft now.
Those
Um,
soundtracks. Like I did the math. The art
mhm,
book probably like $40 in store.
yeah.
Hardcover, 200 pages.
And
The
but
soundtrack,
you
10
can't
bucks.
get them outside of the collector's edition because that's one thing that I wanted to get for Joel for Christmas. I ended up getting him the Man of Steel art book, but
Mm.
you actually can't get the collector's edition art books in stores. So I almost bought Cataclysm. I had it in my hands. It was like $25, the collector's edition of Cataclysm on Boxing Day. And I was just like, you already own this game. It's like part of the battle chest now or something ridiculous. Like it's not even its own game anymore. It's just part of like, wow. So yeah, don't, what are you doing? And then I was like, but there's a little pet and then there's the book and and I was just like, no, I made myself put it back. I probably should just bought it. But anyways, I'll probably get Warlords of Draenor as a collector's edition because really, I mean, I pour so much time into that game. But again, I'm not talking about the things that I'm doing in WoW. This is not a WoW podcast.
Well, I mean, the Blizzard Collector's Edition boxes are part of the Collector's Edition.
Yes, absolutely.
They are part of the collectibles that you're getting. Like it's crazy the amount of work that they put
Hmm.
into that for the $100 you end up spending.
Yeah.
That's
Well, and
with
that's
taxes, folks.
yeah. So I think mine ended up being 130 after taxes and shipping because taxes here in Nova Scotia are ridiculous. So yeah,
Like
I'm
Ocean Air.
but in the end, I think it's worth it, and I cannot wait for Elder Scrolls Online. I am gonna rock it so hard, and then WildStar comes out shortly after that. So you guys may not hear from me. I might have to take a vacation from work and go on like short-term illness leave or something. Be like, sorry guys, sorry, I got MMOs. Go. Don't look it up. No, it's contagious. MMOs is contagious. I can't come to work. I'm sorry. I'll endanger you all.
Massively malaria orifices.
Oh, that is
So you're welcome to use that one, folks. I got the Eld MMO. Someone write that down. Title.
Oh man. So yeah, I actually haven't really been playing too much this week. Ryan and I tried to play Starbound last night, and it didn't quite work out because we couldn't get the server thing figured out. Everyone is going crazy over this game, and I've got to say, this is the biggest thing that keeps me out of games like Starbound and Minecraft and all the rest of it is that you can't just go play the game. There are all of these extra little steps, and I know it's like an indie thing and a PC gamer thing, and it's almost like a rite of passage. But it's so frustrating if you've never done it before. Like, you know, just going to try to play a game and being like, okay, do I have all the information? Okay, I'm going to Google what I have to do and blah, 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 blah. And I just, it's so frustrating. I don't know. Ryan, do you feel the same? Am I way off base? Like,
Um, no, I mean that's the main reason I didn't get into PC gaming until a couple years ago, because it was always so difficult to load. Like, I was playing. Luckily, I have a friend who's just really good at this stuff. Like, he sees like server browsers and IP address inputs and all that, and he's like, "Oh, well," he'll send me the IP. He just says, "Put that in. Don't worry about it." So, but then when I'm in charge or I'm trying to help, like we were trying to play Starbound, and it's like, well, the server's out of date, so we can't connect. And
Yeah.
SkyD was nice enough to get the guy who owns it to update it, and I think it's running now.
Yeah.
But because it's in beta, like if your version doesn't match the server version, then it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So they had to update it, but
And that's true. Starbound is still in beta, but I mean, it just in general, games that are so like that, like Minecraft and Starbound and everything else, where there's just that extra barrier to entry. Like, I remember I wanted to play Lord of the Rings online, and that would have been when it first came out. And I wanted to play that game so badly because I was such a huge Lord of the Rings fan, still am. And I was just like, any excuse I have to play any Lord of the Rings, anything, I'm in. So I tried for like 45 minutes to try to figure out, because it's basically the same as WoW, where you have to pick a server and then you have to create a character. But I didn't understand what a server was, and it was giving me all these different names, and obviously it's the same sort of idea as WoW, where, they're themed after, the lore and the world and everything else. But I was just like, I don't recognize a lot of these names. I don't know. Like, can I go to the Gandalf server? Am I allowed over there? Like, I don't even know what's going to happen when I get there. So I ended up just quitting and never playing. So, like, and again, this was years and years and years ago. Years and years and years ago, before I was really exposed to just multiplayer games in general. Everything that I used to do was very single player focused. So a lot of this stuff that is server based, whether it's MMOs or these like indie server based titles, like all of this kind of stuff that involves a little bit more input from my end, is so intimidating to me, because like I'm just not used to the multiplayer space in PC gaming. It's just way out of my wheelhouse and my safety zone, and I'm just like, oh no, the internet wants me to do something. I need an adult.
Well, that's the beauty of, like, I'll take an example of a game we've actually played in the past that works really well, is Borderlands 2, where you boot the game up, you have a friends list outside within the platform, say on Steam, Xbox Live, whatever, and there's a list of your friends playing. You click a button to jump into their game, and you're done.
Exactly.
Like, worst case scenario, you have to pick a character to bring into their world.
I find Mass Effect 3 is the same sort of thing, where, you can just see who owns it, see who's playing it. You can jump into a game with strangers if you want, but you don't have to. You can grab one friend and go, and, it's just all of the newer interfaces for all this multiplayer gaming, I'm totally fine with, because it's literally idiot proof. And I have no problem saying that I am a complete and total idiot when it comes to PC gaming online multiplayer stuff. Like, totally stupid. Don't understand it. I don't get it. Like I am bad at this.
You're not an idiot, and I'm right there with you. And the word is not idiot. The word is, we are both very busy people. We have, limited free time.
That's true.
We know we want to do something, so we're like
if you can't just sit down and do it, well, yeah, exactly. We had 2 hours set aside, which ended up being 1 hour because I totally forgot about a meeting that I'd scheduled.
Well, besides that,
but
that's a calendar thing.
Yeah,
but I think like the point was that we were like, 8:00, we're gonna play Starbound, and we jump in, and we expected really what would happen was we'd load up XSplit, we'd load up Starbound, we'd connect to the server, and we'd go. But it's not that easy.
No.
And that's why I really enjoy the console realm. That's why I will always pick up games. Well, for the most part, now that we have next-gen systems, I'll probably be more focused on the console, because literally I can either buy a disc, or I can buy it on the online store and play it. There's no settings, there's no VSync, there's no anti-aliasing. It's just what's there is there.
I will say about Tomb Raider, I was so impressed, because I went into Tomb Raider and VSync was already enabled by default. I didn't have to do anything. I was like, oh, Tomb Raider, I love you already. We're friends. Well, it's good.
That game has a benchmark tool as well, and one of the nice benchmark tools where it's in-game, and you set up your settings, and it tells you like everything you need to know about what worked. Like, it'll tell you where it tanked, it'll tell you where it had the average. That game is fantastic, except for the multiplayer. Don't touch the multiplayer and you'll love it.
Fair enough.
No, but seriously, the multiplayer is bad. It's not that you don't know how to connect, it's just bad.
All right, so I think I'm going to jump right into Ryan and I really appreciating your continued support of our show, along with the support of our sponsor, Doghouse Systems. You can use the code TheGamersIn to double your RAM when you purchase a new gaming rig. Head on over to doghousesystems.com and get your order on, which brings us to our topic of the week. And this week, we are actually talking gaming resolutions. We were going to do this after our Game of the Year episode, but then we ended up having the fantastically awesome John, the Icon Master, last week. He was here talking all things Zelda. So if you haven't listened to that episode yet, go check out episode 107 because it was a great, great episode. For once, we all agreed, and Zelda was great. So it was a happy episode versus our last one.
Well, it could have been a lot worse if we had that episode this week with all of the Nintendo news that's been going down. The old Icon Master would have been. Well, he's got some interesting comments about that company.
Yeah.
It's basically any I shouldn't say nice, but any positive forward thinking that he thought Nintendo would have right out the window.
So anyways, what we are talking about this week is our gaming resolutions and just gaming resolutions in general. So Ryan, do you want to take it away here? This is kind of your thing. I'm not a big resolutions person.
Well, we'll first start out with I don't know. I put gaming resolutions in here, but really, we should move it over towards goals. And I put resolutions in here because people just understand New Year resolutions, blah blah blah. There's a great video out there by Brian Brushwood, where he talks about resolutions, and basically the message is resolutions are dumb. That's how the video starts off, but he quickly says, but don't go anywhere. Goals are important.
I did. I really liked that video because I'm such a non-resolution person, and it is completely born out of the fact that most of the time I see friends, family, acquaintances, coworkers, whatever, say, oh, this year I'm going to blah. And then within like 2 weeks, they're just like, oh no, I'm not blahing anymore. I didn't need to, or it was too hard, or I decided I didn't want to, or whatever the excuse is. So I'm not a resolution person, but this video made a lot of sense, and I just threw the link in the chat room. And actually, those of you that are wondering, we do record live every week on AMove TV, so you can follow us on twitch.tv/AMove TV, and we are here at 8:30 p.m. every Friday night, so come join the chat. Ryan, sorry, I totally cut you off.
That's fine. It's just a really great video, and I'm a resolution person. Like, I'll set resolutions on a Monday, where I'm like, all right, this week, we're going to do this, this, and this, and then, like, Tuesday gets here, it's like, that Monday was bad enough, I'm not doing none of those. But I took to heart this goals and coming up with a top 10 list, like, across, like, my life, basically. And part of that was gaming, and I came across another video by Christine Steimer. She's the girlfriend of Greg Miller on IGN.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
probably one of the top IGN guys. So he's really animated, and Christine's also really animated, except in this video where she talks about resolutions. She must have been tired.
She was very serious. I was like...
She was very serious, but and that was more of a resolution video, but I think combining those two, we can come up with some really cool, or at least talk about gaming goals. Some of them examples that she came up with were like MMO based. You know, she has the opposite problem that I have, where she was playing too much Guild Wars 2, whereas I was playing none. And, you know, stuff like that, like finishing more games. That's more of a resolution, but I'm sure we could tweak it towards a goal, and I know we all would love to have that as a goal. Because
see, and I don't know about that one, because that was one that I was kind of thinking about / struggling with before the podcast, and the more I thought about it, the more I was like, you know what, screw that. If I don't like the game, why the hell should I have to finish it? There are some that I will say, for instance, the DLC for Mass Effect 3, or the third DLC for Skyrim, or Tomb Raider is a good one, where I'm sure they are fantastic games and I will really enjoy them and I should finish them. But then there's other titles. A lot of my Steam library falls into this category where everybody raved about it, or I looked at the description, or I watched the trailer, or whatever the case may be, and it looked like it was going to be something I really enjoyed. I picked it up, I played 10 minutes of it, and I was like, screw that. Like, this is not fun. Dark Souls is a perfect example of that. Totally just not my game. And then, like there's other kinds of titles where it's something that has huge nostalgia for me, like for instance, Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, I think. Loved it when I was growing up. It was one of my favorite things. All of the kind of like time management simulation type games, whether it was The Sims or I used to play SimCopter as well, which is basically you just flew a helicopter all over the city and helped all the Sims.
Right.
There was SimCity, obviously, and all of those type of games I loved. And then there was like Sim Theme Park, Roller Coaster Tycoon, all of those things. And I tried it like 3 months ago. It was awful. Compared to new stuff, the interface is terrible, the graphics are horrible, everything runs slowly, you can't navigate it easily, and I was just like, again, played for 15 minutes and was like, screw that. So I definitely don't agree with you have to finish every game you start, because that's just ridiculous.
Well, and that's the difference between a resolution and a goal. A resolution is saying finish games. Okay, great. Finish them. That's awesome. But
Finish
a goal
him.
is a goal is to what you had basically said. Watered down. It's finish games that you enjoy, and finish maybe isn't even the proper word. It's more like enjoy the games that you love. Like you're talking about Mass Effect. Like you enjoyed, the core game, but you feel as though it would have been nice to finish off the DLC, which was fantastic, by the way.
I think I really struggle with DLC in general because most of the time, unless it's actually like more story tacked on to the end of the existing story,
Right.
I don't like it because I don't like going back and, taking my completed character and going backwards in their story to complete more content. And most of the time, I don't have the time or energy or resources to sit down and play through a 20-hour game, and most of them are longer than that.
Yeah.
I don't have time to go and do that whole experience over again. I would much rather that a game was just a game was a game, and that was the end of it.
Yeah. And I'm right there with you. A good example for DLC is Borderlands 2. I enjoyed what I played of that game, and I was happy with my purchase. And this falls in line with, enjoying the games that you buy. Like, I enjoyed it. I'm happy with it. I don't need to finish it. I'll pick away at it. But for some reason, I have this issue where I see that DLC on sale. And it's like, I gotta get this. I'll play it eventually, you know? And it's like, I don't know. It's just that would be another sort of goal is to just, think about that extra content. Are you actually going to play it? Is it going to go on sale 5 or 6 times in the next year before you get around to it again?
Yeah.
It's not going any lower than bottom of the barrel price that you already paid. But
Yeah.
I agree with you. Like finishing more games as a resolution is just, it's probably poor planning, right? But to say, enjoy my games more. Like for example, 3DS is a great example. There was like a ton of games coming out for it or last year.
Yeah.
And I did pretty good until Animal Crossing came out, where I just started buying more games before finishing the ones that I was really enjoying. So like I didn't beat Animal Crossing, I didn't beat Mario and Luigi. Now I have Pokemon. I'm glad I beat Zelda before I moved on to Pokemon.
I still haven't picked up Pokemon again. I feel so bad about that. I played a lot of Zelda for the last week's episode, and then I just haven't even picked up my 3DS this week. I've just been so into the WoW novels that's what I've been doing on my commute, so my 3DS hasn't even been coming with me to work. So it's a balancing a balancing act, and it's really a good idea to set these kind of goals to govern your time a little bit, because for instance, when we were doing Starbound last night and trying to figure out the server thing and everything else, we probably should have first of all had a backup plan, and second of all moved on quicker.
I have a meeting.
Yeah.
No, but you're right though. Seriously, like our backup plan was another game that we hadn't played, where we had to we booted it up, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I just. And I think maybe we use that time as part of our goal. As part of our goal is to say, okay, let's pick a game, not that, is an interesting multiplayer game, but a game we want to play. Like a game we really want to play, not a game we think we're going to play. Like I think Starbound's still a cool game that we could get into. And there's a lot of other games that are in beta out there, like Rust is another big one that
Mm-hmm.
people are enjoying that I want to try. But there's no point in running out to pick it up yet. I mean, we got so many other great titles
Yeah.
that we keep playing, and um, not to spend too much time on it, but I think that's a resolution that every gamer has in when games start coming out, and it's one that nobody keeps because it's too tough. There's so
Mm-hmm.
many titles coming out, and
What do
I
you
mean,
think about
yeah.
a scheduling a game time every day? Like, so saying, I'm going to play 1 hour of video games every day. And some days that'll be really hard. Well, actually, I would think almost every day that would be really hard for one reason or another. Either it's like you can't find that hour and it's really difficult to fit it in, or you get really into something and you have trouble stopping after that 1 hour. So, what do you think about setting a goal to play something every day?
I think it's good. It's important, and I mean, a lot of people are like, "Oh, you gotta schedule your gaming in." Like,
Sometimes.
that's an addict right there, and I'm like, that's somebody who is probably calling the kettle black or wherever that thing goes. That's saying that's not the saying.
I don't think that there's anything wrong with scheduling time for your
Oh,
hobby.
yeah, exactly. You nail
You
it on the
have
head.
to.
It's a hobby. It's a relaxation period. Like if you don't schedule time for yourself to relax, whether the way you wind down is playing video games or gardening or
Watching your
whatever
favorite
other
TV show
hobbies.
or watching
Yeah,
a movie or whatever it is. Knitting. The knitting
knitting.
is making a resurgence, apparently. It's a thing now.
Yeah, I'm not on Pinterest, so I wouldn't really know about that knitting thing. But yeah, no, that's I think it's really important, and I do it sometimes. Normally when I get home from work, I got like an hour before I have to start dinner or Ashley's getting home. So that's normally when I'm playing games, like just
Hmm.
to have some free time to myself. But man, the weekends is just once like 10 o'clock hits and Ashley goes to bed, it's like, all right, it's a race. How much gaming can I get in before I fall asleep?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a couple hours, sometimes it's way too late. But I always try to make time to play video games for sure, and I think that's important.
Okay, so what is your personal resolution goal, whatever you want to talk or whatever you want to call it? What is your gaming thing for 2014?
Well, the big one that always gets me every year is something that I want to change. And I hinted at it when we were talking about Steimer's video was stick with an MMO.
Hmm.
You know, 2012 was SWOTOR. 2013 was Final Fantasy 14, and 2014 is shaping up to be one of three. Whether it's WoW will always be there, but
Mm-hmm.
WildStar Elder Scrolls in
Mm-hmm.
April. Now you're hardcore Elder Scrolls,
Yeah.
and there's a couple people that are hardcore WildStar, and I'm torn. Like I don't know what I want to do. I really enjoy Elder Scrolls, the universe,
Mm-hmm.
but WildStar is new and fresh and different.
True.
It's not. It's not something. It's not a pre-existing franchise, but that's not the issue. Like the issue for me is usually not picking the games; it's sticking with them.
Hmm.
And I am notorious for loving an MMO in theory and never playing it as much as I should.
One thing that I don't think I can say, but I pre-ordered Elder Scrolls, so let's just leave it at that. But WildStar to me is something I'm definitely going to pick up, but I don't know how much I'm going to play it. But it does appeal because you can earn your game time. So if I'm someone who has a bazillion dollars, I can go buy a ton of WildStar game time and then I can put it up on the auction house. And if I'm a person like I am with $0, then I can just play a lot of the game and then get rewarded for that because I can take my in-game currency and spend it on game time. So I think that that's a really great implementation of the whole buying game time thing and getting rid of
Right.
the illegal gold trade and all that kind of stuff. I think it's going to be really interesting because people like me who are broke and who may or may not be paying for multiple MMO subscriptions outside of WildStar have a chance to pick it up and play it in addition to things instead of having to stack it up against something else. Because WildStar, no matter how awesome it is, is never going to replace WoW or Elder Scrolls for me, because I'm just too big of a fan of both of those franchises. So it's just never going to happen. And $50 a month in MMO subscriptions is too much.
Yeah, and that's where I get at. Like, I only want one active subscription at a time, and I mean, I know probably what'll happen is whatever one I pick, WildStar or Elder Scrolls, I will dump it for a couple months to enjoy,
to do the other
or at
one.
least dip my toe into Draenor for WoW. But just something I want to keep in the back of my mind, and something we talked about before was just enjoying the games that we love. And that includes, finding an MMO that I love again. Like my heart isn't broken with WoW, but it's certainly like strained, I guess.
Yeah.
It's like, when I shouldn't say that I'm getting married, but like you're spending too much time with someone and need a break. Like, that's how I feel about WoW. That's not all how I feel about Ashley. I love her to death. But, with WoW, it's that weird relationship that I always need to keep coming back. But I just love that new and sexy, like whatever it is, whether it's SWTOR or Final Fantasy or Elder Scrolls. It's a really good thing that Ashley doesn't listen to this. And this is just gaming we're talking about.
Yeah.
People. This is not a metaphor.
You're just digging deeper.
I know. That's what I do. I love digging games. Speaking of Starbound, we need to play that.
Yeah, we do. So for me, actually, my resolution that has to do with gaming this year isn't so much for playing games, but I just had to renew the domain. I'm going to launch that goddamn podcast if it kills me.
Right.
So those of you that have been following the show, I have a personal project of mine that is very near and dear to my heart that I've been trying to get off the ground for a long time. And it just hasn't really come together because I haven't had the time. And then launching Angry Chicken didn't help, because that's just a good thing, because I love it. But it is quite a time sink. So just playing Hearthstone all the time, and which I would be playing a lot of Hearthstone anyway. But I will be launching Lore Master in 2014. Even if I have to take a sticky note and write Lore Master on it and put it up to the camera for a title card, I'm launching that stupid freaking show. So if you guys aren't familiar with what I'm planning to do, is basically do kind of like the Stuff You Should Know podcast, but for all things video games. So your favorite lore characters, your favorite mechanics, stuff like in the Mass Effect universe. What exactly is the Mass Effect? All the things that are kind of on the peripheral of gaming, those little things that you kind of know about but don't know the whole story or how things work, that are just mentioned, I'm going to really dig into, and I'm going to use a lot of fan art from DeviantArt, obviously with artist permission and everything else. It's going to be a video podcast, and I am really excited about it. So I just haven't been able to find the time, but I've decided now I'm just going to make the time. And if that means I have to be up until 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to be up till 5 o'clock in the freaking morning. And this podcast is getting made.
Well, something they talk about in Brian Brushwood's video is that to write it down, not just write it down so you have it like stuck away on your hard drive or a Post-it note, but build a document 8x10. Put the list out, put images on it. I find he said that helps, and I think it does help. And throw those images on. Throw a big, fat Lore Master logo on there. And just write Lore Master on it if you have to. And print it out and put it in your office somewhere where you work, and have it visible. So you may not make a point of looking at it every day, but you at least see it on your desk and be like, right.
Do you want my horrible, awful confession?
You actually did this, and you've had it there for a year.
No, but what I have had in my calendar for a year that sends off notifications every single time I hit it is Lore Master emails, Lore Master prep, and then Lore Master recording and Lore Master post-production are 4 events in my calendar right now that go off every week. So there's one of those a week. So 4 times a week, I get something being like, you should be doing Lore Master prep right now. You should be emailing artists about Lore Master. You should be recording Lore Master every freaking week for the last year.
It's rough.
It's not that it's not in my face, because my phone goes off all the time.
Well, you said you were going to launch it at Nerdtacular, and technically Nerdtacular is coming up in 2014. So
how terrible is that? How terrible is that? I have my theme music.
Everybody gets busy.
I have my theme music. I have my first round of artists. I have all my research done. I just was struggling with my camera and mic setup, and then I was struggling with where my studio was. But I quite like I'll probably take down the Toronto Maple Leafs flag. It kind of gets rid of the whole like woo lore master vibe. Kind of kills it. But anyways, I feel a little bit more comfortable with my setup now than I was in the past year. So. Moving forward with goals. Yay.
Good. Well, you know what? I've been there. I've had things in my phone to-do list that I keep putting on. I'll do it next weekend, and it keeps popping up, and we've all been there. I mean, and there's even, a project that, well, I don't know if we talked about it, but we have like the Gamers In website that we've been meaning to work on, and it's in my inbox, and half the work's done. It's just gotta go to the rest of there. And we
are the worst. Okay, we have to stop gaming so much, or stop podcasting, or we need to stop podcasting so that I can do more podcasting.
We launch a show once a week. We are not lazy. If anything, we could stop podcasting and play more games, but we do the podcast.
Very true. So I think
stuff done.
That kind of brings us into our final part of our topic here, which is our Gamers In resolutions. And really it's twofold, but kind of one thing. Basically, we're bringing our game night back. So Ryan and I tried to do it last night and it was an epic fail, but we're going to do it every Thursday night. He and I are going to play something. And kind of what goes hand in hand with that is more video content for everybody, right?
Yeah, I think the Thursday night works really well because we can, kill two birds with one stone. Like, we have that scheduled game time.
Mm-hmm.
So if our weeks are completely filled with just big, bold crap, we still have that 2 hours. I'm talking about, like, the calendar. We still have that 2 hours where we've played games, and then we have something to talk about on the episode.
Absolutely.
So I think it's really important.
Yeah, so all of our video content we're going to be streaming to probably, depending on the game, we may stream both my view and Ryan's view, so you'll be able to see Ryan's view over on the Gamers In Twitch. You'll be able to see my view on the GIS Gamer Twitch, but we will always be streaming to the Gamers In Twitch channel. So if you guys want to check that out, it's just twitch.tv/thegamersin, and that'll be every Thursday night at 9 p.m. my time, so 8 p.m. Eastern. So 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, we'll be streaming video content. All of that stuff is going to go up on our YouTube channel. That is also my bad that I have not been uploading all our episodes. I think episode like 102 and maybe 103 are up there. But the last 5 episodes aren't up there. So again, that'll be this weekend. I'll get us all caught up, guys. I know, I've been failing. I need an assistant. Ooh, can I get like a little gnome or something?
We all need, you know what? We all need assistants, because really, like, there are things that we would love to have time to do when it comes to show prep and whatnot that we just don't have time to do.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we have enough. Yeah, like, I know, like, Scott has minions, but I wonder if we can get a minion.
I want a minion.
I'm sure you're on the Angry Chicken. Like, there's got to be somebody who listens to that show
who could help out.
A lot of people listen to that show that could be like, yes, well, Team Jocelyn, let's do this.
I love the Team Jocelyn hashtag. I'm just gonna go right ahead and say that. Not that
I'm so far behind, but I've seen it on Twitter, and it's like there's a war brewing.
Which is ridiculous, because Garrett and Dills and I love each other very dearly. We are great friends, and I don't even know how that whole conversation happened on the last episode, but now there's Team Garrett, Team Dills, and Team Jocelyn, so pick your favorites, vote on Twitter with a hashtag.
Well, you're really looking forward to Elder Scrolls, and there's 3 factions, and they're all warring for the throne of Isradel or whatever.
Angriest chicken.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what show they're listening to, but you all get along famously.
I know. So I think that pretty much does it for the show this week. I just wanted to remind everybody that if you want a super sweet Angry Chicken Gamers In Zombies Ate My Podcast t-shirt, you should head on over to slashloot.com. They are fantastic over there. You can get all kinds of different shows, art, on all kinds of different colors of t-shirts. So see what they've got. That is slashloot.com. I feel like there was something else I was going to mention. Oh, right, that whole Blizzard Entertainment Stream Awards thing. If you guys want to vote for the Angry Chicken on the Stream Awards, feel free to head on over to tinyurl.com/vote4tac. That's TAC. And yeah, we are absolutely honored to be nominated. I was speechless earlier, so I'm kind of getting my wits about me a little bit now. But the voting's only open until February 5th, so head on over. You have to have a Battle.net account and an active game subscription in order to vote, but Hearthstone is free. So you guys can always go pick up Hearthstone, give it a shot, give Angry Chicken a listen, and vote for us in the Stream Awards for 2013. So that does it for the show. You can visit us on the web at gamersinpodcast.com. You can find us on AMove TV, along with other fabulous podcasts, which include StarCast, Campaign Roundtable, Biggest Fan, AMove Radio, and The Angry Chicken. You can follow us on Twitter. You can find me, Jocelyn, at GISGamer, Ryan's at R. Murphy, and don't forget to follow the show at The Gamers Inn. The video versions of all our episodes can be found on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/JocelynMoffat. You can also find us on Facebook and Google+. If you'd like to email the show with your thoughts, your gamer resolutions, and your goals for 2014, you can do so at info@gamersinpodcast.com. Before we go, I just want to give a quick shout out and thank you to Greg Moffat for creating our music. You can find him on Twitter at SoundsInfluence. We'd also like to thank Joel Duggan, who does all of our graphic work. You can find him and everything he does at joelduggan.com. So thanks for staying at the Gamers Inn, and remember, tune in next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.